Let me ask you something right off the bat. Are you living up to your full potential, or are you settling for comfortable mediocrity? Because if you're not pressing yourself far beyond what you think is possible, then you're leaving greatness on the table and you're selling yourself short. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm not here to hand you a polite, sweet fairy tale about just believing in yourself. I'm here to tell you what it really takes to transform your life from the inside out, because I've been in the deepest holes myself and I know exactly how hard it is to crawl out. But I also know it can be done. Years ago, I was in a dark place. I had enlisted in the Air Force with high hopes of joining an elite rescue team, but I came out the other side pushing 300 pounds, depressed and haunted by the knowledge that I had quit on myself. I was working a graveyard shift as a pest exterminator, showing up at empty fast food joints in the dead of night to refill rat traps and spray for roaches. I hated my reflection. I hated the guy I had become, tiptoeing around at 3 a.m. in dark kitchens with a can of insecticide in my hand. Some nights, roaches would follow me from the ceiling like rain. Rats would get stuck on the glue traps, and I'd have to peel their carcasses off and throw them in the dumpster, where a raccoon might jump out and bare its teeth at me. That was my routine. That was my reality. And I had nobody to blame but myself. See, everyone wants to point fingers when life doesn't go their way. I was dealt a bad hand. My circumstances were too tough. I never had the right support. That's how I used to think too. But nobody forced that fast food milkshake down my throat. Nobody forced me to balloon up to 300 pounds. Yes, I had experienced discrimination, childhood trauma, money problems, you name it. But in the end, I was responsible for my own destiny. And I had chosen to settle for less. I'd forgotten who I was. I'd let life beat me down. So I started cowering in the darkness, hiding behind the size of my body. I tried to cover up my insecurities by getting big, but all I really did was get lower and weaker, physically, mentally, and spiritually. That's where I was. Until one night when I randomly switched on the TV and saw a documentary on the Navy SEALs. They were dragging boats across the beach, running with logs above their heads. They looked half dead from exhaustion, but they just kept going. They were unstoppable because they'd chosen to be. That hit me. Right then and there, it was like someone lit a fuse inside me. I realized I was watching something I could have been, something I still could be if I was willing to claw my way out of the pit I dug for myself. I weighed nearly 300 pounds, and in order to qualify for SEAL training, I needed to be below 191 pounds. I had less than 3 months to lose over 100 pounds. Impossible. That's what everybody told me. That's what my own mind told me at first. But let me ask you something. When your back's against the wall and there's a very small window of time left to accomplish a mission, what do? You either cave in, give up, and go back to the same cycle of excuses, or you find another gear. You fight, you suffer, and you refuse to quit. For me, that started with a brutal schedule. I was still on that graveyard shift, but as soon as I clocked out, I hit the pavement. I ran, or I tried to run. The first time out, I barely made it 400 yards. But I came back later that day, and I forced myself to go further. Pretty soon, I was running miles. I was on my stationary bike, grinding for hours. I'd swim laps, then lift weights, then bike some more. 10 to 12 hours of hard training every day, and that was on top of studying for a test called the ASVAB, an academic exam I needed to pass again with a much higher score than before, just to have a shot at getting into buddies. I was on the razor's edge of collapse. My whole body ached, and I was running on minimal calories and even less sleep. My wife at the time gave me an ultimatum: either give up on this SEAL dream or lose your marriage. So I had a double choice. Either I do the sensible thing and give up for the sake of comfort, the same pattern I'd been stuck in for years, or I stand up and claim the life I knew deep down I was meant to live. I chose the latter. Now, I could stand up here and talk about how I visualize success or how I use positive thinking to keep myself going, but that wouldn't be the truth, because none of this was pretty. Every day I was miserable. My lungs were screaming, my legs felt like lead, and every time I stepped on the scale, the numbers haunted me. There's a reason most people quit. We have this idea that transformation is supposed to feel good somehow, or that it'll be inspiring. Let me tell you, it's only inspiring in hindsight. In the moment, it's pure hell. It's sweaty, hungry, cold, lonely, embarrassing, because you're putting yourself in positions you can't handle yet. And your ego has to sit there and take it. But that suffering is the only way to truly grow. If you never chase discomfort, your mind and body will always run away from it. And guess what that means? You'll remain exactly where you are. Maybe you think, I work pretty hard. Maybe you do. Maybe you hit the gym for an hour and you sweat a bit. That's not the same as going to battle with your soul and your willpower. That's not the same as pushing well beyond your known limits day after day. See, we learn about ourselves when the chips are down, when everything hurts, when you're trying to knock out one last pull-up, but your arms are done, your hands are shredded, and you want to drop. That is the moment where you either break or break through. That's where you test the ceiling of your capabilities and raise it. And that's not just a metaphor for training. It's a metaphor for every corner of your life, your relationships, your career, your mental health. If you're not testing yourself, you can't know yourself. And if you can't know yourself, you can't grow. If you're listening to me right now and thinking, man, this is hardcore, I'm going to tell you, it has to be. We live in a world that worships comfort. Everything is about convenience and shortcuts. Buy this device and make your life easier. Take this pill and fix all your problems. But when it comes to real transformation, there are no shortcuts. None. It's the path of most resistance that forges you into who you're meant to be. I call it callousing your mind. When you lift weights, your hands get rough calluses. They stop tearing and bleeding so easily. The same goes for your mind. When you face hardship over and over, you develop mental calluses that protect you from the storms of life. The problem is, most people spend their entire existence running away from the storms. They see a cloud in the sky and they scurry for shelter. But guess what happens in the storms? That's where life's lessons are. That's where you get strong. If you're always choosing the easy route, you'll never get close to your full potential. I want to challenge you to take a step back and look at your own life, your own daily routine. What's your mental diet? What's your physical routine? How do you talk to yourself when nobody else is around? For me, accountability is the bedrock. If I didn't hold myself accountable, I'd still be 300 pounds, inhaling boxes of donuts and complaining about how life isn't fair. That's where I'd be. Instead, I started calling myself out brutally. I'd look in the mirror and say, this is your fault, Goggins. You did this. Now you fix it. That kind of raw honesty stings, but it's crucial. Without honesty, you can't possibly solve your problems. You'll keep sugarcoating everything, blaming external factors. And that's exactly how you stay stuck. Don't hide from your weaknesses. Drag them out under a spotlight and force yourself to face them. That's how you kill the excuses. That's how you become unstoppable. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and lose 100 pounds in 3 months or run ultras or become a Navy SEAL. That's not everyone's path. But you do need to find the walls in your life, the barriers that are locking you in a second place, and start breaking through them. If you're stuck in a rut, don't set a goal that's so far beyond reality that you can't see the path. Start with something small but uncomfortable, something you don't want to do. If you never make your bed, guess what your assignment is? Get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and make it. Then do the dishes. Then run 1 mile. Once that's easy, do 2 miles. Then 5. Bit by bit, you adapt. Suddenly the tasks that once felt impossible will become routine. But let me warn you, as soon as you start to get comfortable again, you'll get complacent and your mind will backslide. It's like the mind is always searching for the easy path. You have to keep shining a light on that voice of mediocrity and stamping it out. That's why I'm telling you, this is a lifestyle. This is not a 30-day challenge. It's not 6 weeks to a new you. This is a lifelong commitment to suffering, to growth, to excellence. There's no arrival point where you can say, I did it. I can kick back now. If you want to stay sharp, you keep going. It's that simple. Looking back, I did lose the weight. I passed that ASVAB and I made it into SEAL training. I went on to become a Navy SEAL. But let me emphasize something. Earning that trident was just one chapter. The real victory was becoming the man who wouldn't accept quitting anymore. The man who no longer blamed life or other people. The real victory was discovering what I was truly capable of when I decided enough is enough. People ask me all the time, was it worth it? My answer is the same every time. It saved my life. I was on a path to nowhere. I was hiding from my own potential. Choosing suffering, choosing adversity, forced me to live wide awake. It taught me how to harness pain as fuel. And that's what separates high achievers from everybody else. They don't run from pain. They don't merely manage it, they use it. And guess what? That process never ends. Suffering is a teacher that knocks on our door every single day. You either open up and let it teach you something, or you keep pretending you're not home. But if you leave it out there, you'll remain the same. You'll live and die in your comfort zone. If that's okay with you, then this speech is not for you. But if you're done hiding, if you feel that fire in your gut telling you there's more to life than what I'm doing, then start right now. Doesn't matter how old you are, how many failures you have behind you, or how badly you've let yourself down in the past. Today you can decide to do the hard things that will change your future. I want you to write down 3 or 4 things you hate doing, but know would make you better. Things that make you uncomfortable or insecure. Maybe it's public speaking, or waking up early to run, or signing up for that course you're afraid you'll fail. I'm not talking about small preferences like, I hate pineapple on pizza. I'm talking about the tasks or habits that actually challenge you to grow. Then when you finish writing them down, I want you to pick one, just one, and do it every single day for the next week. Don't run from it. Don't make excuses. Show yourself you can handle being uncomfortable, and you'll develop that mental callus bit by bit. Eventually, you'll realize how powerful you really are. You'll see that the ceilings you set for yourself were illusions. You can break them anytime you choose to face the pain and push through it. That is how you learn to love the grind and embrace the suck. Because here's the truth. If you want real freedom, freedom from being a prisoner of your own mind, freedom from regrets and unfulfilled dreams, then you have to earn it. And you earn it by doing what most people avoid day after day, year after year, for the rest of your life. So get out there, attack your weaknesses, chase the storm. When you do that, when you truly look hardship in the eye and dare it to break you, you'll find you're a lot tougher than you ever dreamed possible. And instead of a downward spiral fueled by junk food and regret, you'll discover an upward spiral powered by discipline, determination, and relentless drive. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of walking the path of most resistance. That is how you rewrite your story, one uncomfortable day at a time. Don't let anybody, especially that little voice in your head, tell you otherwise. You're worth fighting. You just have to decide that whatever it takes, whatever it costs, you are done making excuses. You are done with good enough. You are stepping out of the shadows and into the brightest, hottest flame of adversity, where character is forged and greatness is born. Now get after it.